What's up, everybody? Welcome to the live podcast here in Paducah, Kentucky at Larry's Restaurant. And today, my first interviewer is going to be Mr. Larry, who is known as Matthew Turner. He's the owner here at Larry's. And Mr. Turner, can you tell us about yourself and the thing that you're going here to visit?
Yeah, my name is Matthew Turner. I'm 36 years old. I've been in the restaurant business going on 20 years now. Worked in various restaurants from Pizza Hut, TGI Fridays, Rafferty's, all the different places. And my partner and I, we met in 2017 at TGI Fridays, and he gave me this idea of opening a soup salad sandwich restaurant. We wanted to use the KISS method, keep it simple, stupid. And we've slowly evolved the last 5.5 years, and hopefully finding some people that can get this to the next level. Maybe we can franchise one day.
Oh, yeah, it's great information right there. And then my next thing getting into this podcast is, can you tell us your business model? What keeps you in business?
Just consistency and the people, and just creating a really fresh meal day in, day out. We prep the meat in-house. We cut everything fresh that morning. Anything from our salad dressings to all our meats, our turkey, ham, roast beef, corned beef, and all our soups are prepared fresh daily. We have about a 25 soup rotating list, and we do about 5 to 6 a day. So that's the one thing that my partner really strove home, is just keep freshness and don't sleep on your laurels, and just keep the ball moving.
Oh yeah. So with that being said, there was a period of COVID that came around. So I know you were in business at that particular time. Can you tell us how did COVID affect your business? Which is the first question. I'll do that first question. How did it affect your business?
It really affected it because we had to shut down for about 11 weeks, and it was really tough. We tried to grind it out, right when it first happened. Sales went down to nothing, and we were just twiddling our thumbs, for 6, 8, 10 hours a day. So it was tough to find help. It was James and I basically in here the whole time, and it took us 2 years to actually get our numbers back. So from 2020 to 2022, the numbers really plummeted, but it really helped, just stick to the model. And my partner said if we survived COVID, we kept the doors open, the bills paid and all that, when the gloves were $10 a box, that if we can just ride the storm, when everything goes back down, sky's the limit. And we persevered.
Awesome. And I know coming out of COVID, there were some challenges that you probably faced. What were some of the challenges that you faced after COVID?
Definitely food costs rising up, from gloves to, everything just going up about 50 to 60%. Chicken used to be the cheapest meat. It really rose. It went from like $40 to $38 for a 40-pound box, all the way up to over $100 a case. So that was a really significant jump. And then just finding staff, just dependable help. So I think that this last few months we've actually hit a ceiling. So I kind of want to do some changes and maybe get some more room, or find some good bodies to actually grow this thing.
You talked about your staff. You mentioned your staff that it was hard finding great quality staff. The staff you have right now, can you talk about them? How are they making the business successful? Because I think a lot of businesses don't have quality staff, or they're short staff, and you have this kind of in and out.
Right.
So can you talk a little bit about your staff that you have now?
Actually, absolutely. I actually got a staff now that's starting to buy into the system, just the little things, not cashing people out until the food's ready. We want to mirror places that are doing it, that have done it. We went to Star's Barbecue this afternoon,
oh, yeah.
And we see how they do things. They don't write anything down, and it's very smooth, and communication is the key, and you get better results with less staff. Whenever you're on the same page and you communicate, you just kind of pass the baton. So that's what we're really focused on, cleaning up the little mistakes. And I keep telling everybody, 19 out of 20 is not good enough. Whenever you have all these offices ordering big lunches from us, we have to be extraordinary and not ordinary. And that little difference, that little extra, makes a big difference in keeping and maintaining the growth that we want to do. So I got a new manager on staff. He's really helped out with preparing the soups, helping me out with that end. So the consistency factor is starting to get back to where it was, 6 to 8 months ago. So that's a really good key.
Oh yeah. And then you being as an owner, I had the chance to ride with you today. And I think that you're a great owner. If you haven't hung out with any of your staff members, but you're a great owner from what I've seen. And I believe that you know, in order to have a successful business, you have to have a great owner starting off. We did some traveling around, we went some places. But this is going to lead me to now is when we did drive around, it was raining, took some great spots, made some great, phenomenal spots, great conversation, and just having a great time. As an owner, what are some important keys an owner should have? Because we talk about staff, but what are some keys an owner should have?
The main thing that being an owner, my partner really taught me, he said, you want to put out the small fires before they become big ones. And that's the one thing that I've tried to do is, you know, there's never going to be a smooth day. You know, I joke around, I say every day is a controlled train wreck. So you just try to minimize the mistakes before they get big ones. And when we first started in 2019, James Tyler, my partner, he told me, if you continue in this business or you do something else, if you do three things, you're going to be okay. And that's do things in the order of importance, manage your time, and then work with a sense of urgency. He said, you do those three things, no matter what you do in life, you're going to be okay. And I think if I really just, you know, strive that, put that into people's heads and create a team that focus on those three things, I think we'll be okay.
And then moving forward, you had somebody who was your partner in this business, he ended up dying.
Yeah.
How devastating was that when that all happened?
Oh man, it was very devastating. We made plans. You know, he was the reason I started this. You know, he sold me on the idea of, you know, being like the places like Wendy's and, you know, Jimmy John's and Papa John's. And he always, you know, told me about the people that made it, you know, the success stories. And we had big plans, you know, and it's one of those things that seeing him in the hospital, and I asked him a question. I said, you know, what's some advice that you give me moving forward? And I thought he was going to give me a Mr. Miyagi type advice, you know, from Karate Kid, but he said, just keep doing what you're doing. And he said, you know, you're better than I ever was. And, you know, that means a lot for somebody that's got 30 plus years in this business. So just keep doing it.
And as an owner, talk about your backstory. Where were you before you became the owner of Luke Larry's? Where were you at?
I was at TGI Fridays. I was at Buffalo Wild Wings. Worked at Outback. Worked down in downtown at Shandy's. So worked at Quiznos. So I've been in the restaurant business in and out for the last 20 years. And, you know, I met my partner, James Tyler, at TGI Fridays back in 2017. He was like an undercover boss. You know, I didn't realize that he had the ability to actually, you know, open a restaurant. And I saved his number in my phone as Loopy Larry from day one.
Oh.
And when Fridays closed on a random Monday in 2018, you know, we went our separate ways. He went to Oasis in Catawba, and then I went to Buffalo Wild Wings. And it was a random Wednesday in April, a little over a year later. We met each other in Applebee's, and he said, hey, do you remember Loopy Larry's idea? Soup salad sandwich? I said, oh, yeah, you're still in my phone as Loopy Larry. He said, I need help. You want to open it with me? And I didn't know anything about, you know, opening a restaurant, but he said, just show up and be malleable. And he said, I'll give you the food. You go out and get the service. And, you know, 5.5 years later, we're still increasing the numbers. So hopefully, sky's the limit.
Coming down to this final moment, what is the future for Loopy Larry's?
I think we're going to be in every big city. You know, that's the end goal. And he told me, you know, 5-6 years ago, he said, if that doesn't excite you, then, you know, let's not even start. So that's the big goal, is to just find that one person. And I think that we're knocking on the door.
Okay, and where can people find you or find Loopy Larry's? I know, like, it's in a town in Paducah, Kentucky, but where can they find you if they're like in
We're
another state?
3160 Pariza Drive, exit 7. You know, we get a lot of travelers coming to Florida and home from Florida and, on the weekends. So we're right off exit 7. We're about a mile off the exit, right across from the Kroger and the Walgreens area, right across from the fire station. If you type in Loopy Larry's, they'll take you right here, 3160 Pariza Drive. We're the best kept secret in Paducah. We're like a speakeasy.
Okay, and before I let you go, what should someone order? What would be a great thing to order from Loopy Larry's?
Well, I think the most popular item is the Mark Martin. We actually named it after a local guy from Airtight Installation. His name's Mark Martin. It's got roast beef, ham, and bacon. It's got pepper jack cheese that's smoked from Hughes Market, caramelized onions, mayonnaise, lettuce, and sriracha. And that's like our #1 seller.
All right, you have Loopy Larry's, you have Matthew Turner right here. Is there anything else you would like to say before you head off?
Just stay loopy. Thanks, guys.
All right. right. My next individual coming up is going to be Torian Little. All right, Torian Little will be the next guest here. As he's making his way up, make sure that you're hitting this button, like subscribing to the Preacherchronicles podcast. Not only that, make sure you go over to Loopy Larry's, but follow Loopy Larry's, a great as you can see in the video. And here we are sitting now with Mr. Little. And Mr. Little, you have a few things. The first thing is you have some natural juices. So natural juices, and then also you have another of your own podcast called Solution Over Excuses. Let's start with your podcast. When we talk about your podcast, where did you get the name and how did you get started?
Well, I was kind of going through a custody battle with my son. He's actually over there, but going through a custody battle with him, and I was kind of making excuses for myself, like I can't do this, I don't have the funds right now. You know, I need to decrease my finances, need to work more hours, and then a light bulb came on, and I was like, solutions over excuses, like, and that's where it came. That's how it just hit me out of nowhere, and then. Shout out to my brother Ronnie Jones Jr., Sir Duke. He was talking, and then he was like, you know, you got a name for the podcast? You know, we need a co-partner. And I'm like, solutions over excuses. Right. And my other co-partner, which is Hazel, she was like, that's perfect. And then, you know, I kind of told him the backstory on it, and it was like, it made sense. Right. So here we are.
Right. So when we talk about solution over excuses, walk us through the whole custody battle or some of the things that you want us to know.
Well, it was just more like I wasn't getting, you know, my proper time shares. Right. And it was nothing negative to say, you know, about her. It was just like, hey, you know, I need a proper time with her. You know, he's a boy, you know, he's a growing boy, young man. He needs me. He needs that presence. You know, he needs that structure. And so that's what made me just, hey, I got to put the foot forward and, you know, put 10 toes down and grind it out and get a lawyer and say, let's go.
Yeah. so that obviously had to be a grind. Thinking about
it's
that.
still a grind.
So thinking about that whole grind, how does that motivate you to continuously inspire inside a podcast?
It was just like, I always preach like changing the mindset, you know. And of course I start with my inner circle and then eventually the world, you know. So I had to change my mindset first because I can't change the world unless I change myself.
Right.
So once I changed my mindset, and then I'm like, okay, solutions over excuses. Everything has to be the model. That has to be the model for everything in life. You know, otherwise you're gonna be procrastinating. So that's kind of how I keep going. That's kind of how I just stay focused, laser focused, and just keep grinding every day.
Gotcha. So my next thing is, when you have the individual, let's say a guy comes to you, it's like, hey, I'm having this issue, I'm having that going on. What would you say, or what solution would you give him, since the solution is not instead of problems or excuses?
Yeah.
We move to solutions. What solution would you give?
Okay, so just look at the problem and, you know, kind of examine yourself and do a reevaluation on yourself. And then once you do that, then you can look in the mirror and say, okay, well, maybe that wasn't her problem, or maybe it wasn't his problem. It's my problem. So the only way I can change that is after I reevaluate it, start taking my baby steps towards doing better. With him, you know, a young fella. So that's what I was explaining to him.
Okay. And then when we moved to the natural juice, let's talk about it.
Oh, you gotta try these. Yeah. Man. You gotta try these. So you got watermelon twist.
Okay.
It has watermelon and pineapple.
Okay.
That's it. Nothing else in it.
Try this. I'm gonna taste it. I'm gonna tell you how it tastes.
Yeah. I want a real reaction.
Okay. Now if it's anything, that's all. Then we'll have to create a solution.
Yeah.
Let me check. don't think I got it. Hold on. Wait. Check. So, wait. I gotta get the full effect. I've been trying to get the little taste. Let me get the full effect. So you said strawberry?
No,
Watermelon.
it's watermelon and pineapple.
Watermelon.
I
Okay,
call
so,
it watermelon twist.
okay, so watermelon twist. If I was on those shows, which is like what's that? Some of those shows they do the cookie challenge.
Okay.
And they taste. I would have thought, honestly, this was like a cucumber taste.
So cucumber in there.
Right. So you said it's a watermelon,
But you know the watermelon, the green part of the watermelon actually comes from the cucumber family. So watermelon technically comes from the cucumber family.
Okay.
So that's probably why you taste it, but it's just all the inside of the watermelon.
Okay. I mean, I can take that. You know. Oh, what's this one right here?
This one right here is I call this grape pop.
Great pop.
Because it tastes like a pop, but it don't have, the acid to it, and it don't have preservatives, none of that. So no added sugars. And it's actually green grape, green apple,
Okay.
and pineapple.
Okay. Now this one right here. Last one I kind of sipped. I'm gonna do this one like a shot.
Yeah, just take it like a shot.
I think that one right here.
That's your.
Oh yeah, this one, yeah. This one right here is a hit. I like that one. I'm not saying this ain't the,
You like
but
the grape
this
pop?
yeah,
You like the grape pop?
it's like, and you know what it is like a pop because it pops that flavor.
Yeah.
And I think that's real healthy, especially when we're talking about, when we talk about the solutions over excuses.
Yeah.
This is healthy. I think if a person has some type of issue in a relationship, they need to get this.
Yeah, they need to get that.
This is gonna help them out.
Gonna bring them back. I'm actually gonna do going into the new year. Probably either I ain't gonna be specific, but it either be between January and February. I'm gonna do a 60 day challenge.
Okay.
But it's gonna be a 60-day fast too.
Gotcha.
For myself. So any of y'all out there, y'all welcome to go on with the 60-day fast with me, and we're gonna be real healthy. So healthful actually came from me putting healthy and beautiful together.
Gotcha.
So healthy.
So now, you make these by yourself.
Yeah,
At home. All right, so walk us through the step. When you're at home, you're making something, because everything starts with a phone.
Yeah.
All right, so you're in your kitchen or wherever you're at. You're laying out these fruits. What makes you put certain foods with each other? How do you pick?
well, see how I kind of designed it. Like I want it to be healthy.
Okay.
Then I want you to, you be energized, you be rejuvenated, but I also want you to have the experience.
Gotcha.
So how I make it is, if I can make it and I taste it and I'm like, whoo,
Okay.
and then kind of examine, different people and like, okay, what's the common fruit? The common fruit is orange. So I don't want to be common. I want to be extraordinary.
Gotcha.
So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do other fruits, watermelon. You know what I'm saying? Apples. All the simple fruits that people eat every day. You know what I mean? Even if it's not in season, there's some type of watermelon in season that's organic. So like right now the watermelon ain't in season, but the personal organic ones is in season. So it's still good, even though it's not the seeded ones. The seeded ones.
Right.
But yeah, like that's how I make them. So like the preparation of it is time consuming. I'm gonna say that it's not easy, but when I was going through the process of it, I just made it to where, as soon as you taste it, you're like, that's the one. Whichever one that's your one.
Right.
You're like, that's the one.
Right.
But they all got a different unique taste to it.
Gotcha.
So, it's just you gotta kind of pick and choose which one is your favorite, but they are my favorite. I made them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So are you selling these? Like, are you out?
Oh yeah, I'm selling them. I actually have some cards on me too.
Okay.
I give you one.
Oh yeah. Make sure I put it up here so everybody can see it.
Turn it around.
That was all the flavors. This on the back right here. Make sure y'all check them out. All right. Now, my thing is, when you look at healthy food, because we got to have healthy relationships, but it's good to have healthy food too.
Yeah.
How does an unhealthy relationship affect what you do?
Okay, so unhealthy relationship will affect you by when you're going through stress, you're gonna naturally just eat whatever. So you're gonna eat like fast food, like Whoppers, from Burger King, McDoubles, from McDonald's.
Right.
But when you discipline yourself and you shift from that and you lock in and you start gradually, slowly eating healthy, whether that's an apple or orange or green bell peppers, onions, mixing vegetables and different things like that. Then once you change that and you change your appetite, and now you focus. So now you're not really worried about that relationship, but you still, it's kind of like reincarnating yourself to still believe that a relationship is possible now.
Gotcha. So, how much does it cost to make one? Fruits, all that. Walk us through that.
Okay, so to make one,
Yes, make one.
so I don't just make one. I make two at a time.
Okay.
So to make two at a time, it's around about probably $25
Okay.
to make two at a time.
Okay.
And I'm not, like I said, I'm not really looking for a profit
Okay.
right now
Okay.
because I'm looking long term.
Gotcha.
So long term is $8 now. Long term it might be $12
Okay.
when I get to where I'm going.
Right. So if I'm a store, I want you to sell this product or market this product to. I'm Walmart. You're coming in to Walmart. You're trying to get this product inside of Walmart. Walk me through how you will market.
First, I'll let you taste it.
Okay.
And then we can talk numbers.
Okay.
That's it.
So here we go. On Walmart, you're gonna let me taste it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Then you're gonna do numbers.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So if I'm Walmart, right? Because I think when you look at these types of drinks, health, right now it's a big thing on health, right? People are using Ozempic, right?
Yeah.
Like that's the biggest thing on the market, right?
That's the shot, right?
Yeah, that's the shot.
Yeah. And on one of my partners, he was taking it, but he was saying like, it's gonna be different for everybody.
Right.
So we ain't gonna go into it, but yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
you have a person taking Ozempic.
Yeah.
All right. But a person to be really healthy, you have to really diet. Like in all honesty, you can't like shots. I mean, I'm not knocking anybody out there who's taking shots, but I'm saying to be healthy, you have to diet.
Yeah. So I'm glad you said that because now I can go. Now I'm gonna go further into it. So this is the only way this drink is helpful. It's gonna change your life is dieting while you're drinking.
Okay.
So while you're drinking it, make sure you drink plenty of spring water, and you can't eat those cheeseburgers.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? You gotta cut back on them. You gotta eat them in moderation.
Right.
And eat more vegetables with it, and less sugar. As far as in like bread, it's the diet is extreme. The diet is important. You don't just drink that and then now you 50 pounds lighter.
Right.
So you gotta go through the process, and then you're gonna have great results.
Meal replacement or no meal replacement?
Meal replacement.
So that's a replacement.
Yes. You can drink one in the morning.
Okay.
So you drink one in the morning to get you going.
Okay.
To get you going if you're finna go to work or if you're finna go work out. And then like in the evening shift, if you're already at work and then you're finna go to lunch, instead of going to lunch and getting food,
right,
you can drink that and just make sure you get some water behind it, and it's gonna rejuvenate you. And then before you go to sleep, you can drink one, and you're gonna sleep. You're gonna sleep excellent. No, just being truthful, you go to sleep excellent. And the only thing you're gonna do is it's regular like any humans. You're gonna wake up through the middle of the night at a certain time, go use the bathroom, but then you're gonna be able to go right back to sleep.
Gotcha. So when do we make this profit? Like, is it a 2-year plan, a 5-year plan, 10-year plan? What are we going to make this profit?
2 to 3 years.
2 to 3 years. So right now you're in your.
I'm in my probably 2-3 months.
Okay.
I'm gonna say 2.5 months.
Gotcha. So as we start getting closer to the end, my question is where can people find you? Which are Real Talk Solutions for solutions?
Solutions over excuses. You can find us on YouTube, Faded Talk, Real Spill. I'm sponsored by Faded Talk, Real Spill, Solutions over Excuses. You'll find it on YouTube.
Okay.
You'll find it on Spotify. And what's another one?
We got iHeartRadio.
iHeartRadio. And yeah, that's it.
Okay, what they gonna put in to the search bar on YouTube?
On the search bar on YouTube, you put Faded Talk, Real Spill.
Real talk, real spill. Do you have a website for your drinks yet, or we still?
Working on that. We're working on that. Yeah, we're working on that. We're working on that. Right now, we just hand to hand retail right now.
Okay. Okay. So let's talk this real quick before I let you go. If we are talking about relationship in this room, right? How do we intertwine those two into one?
Build a healthy relationship with yourself first. Like, focus on getting yourself in shape. Focus on getting your mind right. And that means eating properly. Eating good, eating clean, and just keeping your vision, clear of all any toxic things, places, whatever, before you start to want to be in a relationship with anybody else. Okay. So you got to get your relationship right with yourself first, and then the sky's the limit at the moment.
Okay, and I'm letting you know, keep both of these drinks.
Okay.
Even though this one right here is my favorite. Yeah, this one right here is my favorite. But I'm definitely gonna keep the other one, and I promise you, I will drink them. Yeah. And anything you want to say to anybody out there who might be going through what you were going through at one particular time, or maybe they just want to get into this healthy lifestyle? Anything you want to give them?
I would tell them just recreate yourself. Don't. I'm a spiritual guy, and what I have to do is just know, no matter whether it's the Bible, the Quran, the Torah, whatever you believe in, in all those books it says, do not always lean on your own understanding. Do not lean on your own understanding. So that means, you got to put your faith in the Creator, whomever that is to you. And, and you can go wherever you want in the world. You can be whatever you want. Just put the grind in and don't give up.
All right. Well, you guys, that was Toria Little. Terry. See, I've been saying it wrong and hitting it right. Terrion Little. And you guys make sure you go and follow Terrion there and on his podcast. And can you get him that podcast one more time? I want to say
okay. Solutions Over Excuses is sponsored by Faded Talk Real Spill. Faded Talk Real Spill on Facebook and YouTube. Check us out.
Gotcha. All right, so that's Terrion. Terrion Little. Nice having you. Yes, sir. You guys, we're here at Loopy Larry's. Make sure you guys go subscribe to Loopy Larry's YouTube, go and subscribe to Loopy Larry's on social media, Facebook, and then make sure you also subscribe to Preacherchronicles YouTube channel and Preacherchronicles here on Facebook, Instagram, and all those major podcasting platforms. We can get heard on all major podcasting platforms. Coming to the stage next is going to be Elizabeth, aka Liz. She's going to be coming up here. We're going to talk some great things. So without further ado, here is Liz. So welcome to the show, Liz. Or Elizabeth, which one do you like, Liz?
Liz.
I do. Liz.
Liz was a little bit too,
Okay. Yeah, so let's say Liz. Liz, can you tell everybody about yourself out there before we get into the questions?
Yeah. I was I'm 22. I basically took a year off, but I done a lot of panels about body positivity, being able to thrift affordable but cute fashion in your budget, how to do budgeting. I've done baking podcasts out there as well, and also always an advocate for different types of disabilities and how you can be in the workplace or how you can about anything.
All right, so you said body positivity. Walk us in. What is body positivity?
So it's basically learning to look at yourself in the mirror and basically like what you see looking back. It took me a long time to stop changing myself. I kept on trying to change myself, change my hair, change anything to just not look like me. So it took me a while to realize, hey, this is my body, and I need to learn to love it, and not look in the mirror and be ugh,
Right. So with body positivity, was there something that made you just be not to like your body? Or?
Yeah. I mean, we live in a very like social media, obviously, era of time, and there was a lot of like going through high school, going through a little bit of college, especially during COVID. Everyone was more online a lot, and I would be walking to class, and I have a kind of out there style, and all of a sudden there would just be photos posted like just basically you, or hey, just go like run a lap, and then I'm sitting here in college and in high school as an athlete, like really A, confused, and B, like I don't think that's a really nice thing to say to anyone. And so I started like really getting down on myself for a long time, and then I got volunteered to do a panel in 2022 about body positivity with a couple other small creators at a Comic Con. And then after that, it just kind of like just kept more and more panels. We just kept doing more and more about like learning to like love ourselves in different sizes. And I started actually seeing the positives instead of negatives.
Okay. So did the panels help, or is it more so like you kind of just decided one day you're going to change?
It was kind of both. There was one day where it was like, you know what? I was like, I'm doing all these panels with all these people, and I basically felt like I was lying because I was like, here I am talking about like, hey, love yourself, yet I did not really like who I saw in the mirror. And B, it was like, why am I trying to change for all these people that I don't even know?
Right. Right.
I was like, instead of just being my more authentic self.
Okay. You said self-love.
Yes.
My question when it comes to self-love is, how does someone love themselves? Like, and what I mean by how does someone love themselves, because again, social media says you got to be this person, you got to be that person.
You gotta look a certain way.
Right. So how do you love yourself, even though social media is telling you this other thing?
Well, I do a daily affirmation.
Okay.
Definitely helps. Like I write down different things, and I try to list different things that I like in my closet that I think would look cool, or like, oh, I like my hairstyle today, or oh, you know what, I'm gonna try to do this hairstyle, and I'm like, oh, I really like this on my hair. It's like maybe I'll keep trying this because I really like it. Just basically doing something sometimes that makes yourself feel better, like changing your hair or like to a color that you've always wanted to go. And then you're like, wow, it's like I really like my hair. And then you're like, hey, look, just said a compliment about yourself
Right.
instead of being down.
So can a person with a disability, all right, and we live in a society where people with disabilities sometimes are outcast, like they're out there. So can they perform body positivity?
Always. Most of the people that I do my panels with, each one of us kind of has like either a mental or physical disability. Where there's a lot of groups out there. I've really found that being a part of different like one good thing about social media is you can find different groups of people that are like you out there. Right. And so there's different groups for people with like physical disabilities, or like people with like, hey, I'm missing an arm, or hey, I'm missing a leg. Right. And mental disabilities like autism or ADHD, there's like different panels and groups for that. And I really found like being in those groups and then being able to either do a panel with people that are a little bit different than me. Like one of my panels is 2 of them are wheelchair users.
Okay.
One of them has a service dog, and then it's me. I have ADHD, and then one of our other panel members is autistic. We all just kind of sit there. We had a 2-hour panel on like what we did to help ourselves, where to A, function better in society and in the workplace, and B, how we all learn to be like, hey, I kind of like myself. And after 2 hours of that, you kind of learn about everyone else, and then sometimes you can learn a little bit about yourself and really good advice as well.
Okay, so in these groups, you're saying that people can find people who are just like them.
Yep.
Wheelchair, ADHD, all that good stuff. Now, on social media, all right, because I see some social media where it's a group, but people come in there and they're not any of those things, and they write hateful things in the group. If you created a group and that happened, what would you do?
Well, there are a lot of features where you could block certain words. I always try to block, like, especially a couple hateful words before I even get on a group. Or there's always, nowadays, there's like admins,
Oh, yeah.
which is really helpful. I was like, yeah, you can either hire somebody or have a close friend get on there, and if they see something hateful on a live, then they go, boop. And then that person's comment can go away.
So that take away the problem if we just
Not-
block in what they say.
Not all the time, but at a certain point in your life, you have to be like, that person thinks that they're super anonymous on the internet, and you can't really let that get to you. It's like, oh, you did the word you. Like, okay. I was like, I could easily say that back to you, but I'm not going to.
Right. So you're not gonna block the person. You're just gonna block what they say.
Yeah.
Okay. I know we got an audience out here. I'm gonna ask y'all a question. Is it okay just to block what somebody say on social media, or should we block the person?
Depends.
Depends.
I think it depends on what they say.
What they say.
Yeah.
So do we get a chance? So if we're not gonna block them the first time, do we give them a chance to be like, okay, they said something bad, keep them on?
I like to give people kindness, so I'll turn their words around and just treat them better than they're treating me. So, but if it's habitual, like if they continue to do this, you can't block them, they're not going to change.
Okay. So that we're gonna block them when? At what point?
2 or 3 times. Once they show a behavior of just want to be rude or disrespectful or negative, like they won't listen to the positive or try to change.
Then we'll block.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or if they end up triggering somebody else
In the group.
yes. Like,
Okay.
if somebody immediately triggers somebody in the group, and then that person's having a hard time, then we have to remove the person then.
From the group.
Yes.
Okay. My next thing is when it comes down to a person with disabilities and things like that, how do we as people who might not have the disabilities that maybe we see in our community, we don't have them, but we want to join those groups, what are some things we can do to kind of help those who might have some disability that maybe we can't see? Let's talk about the ones we can't see. So somebody who might not have 2 legs, somebody might have one arm. You know what I'm saying? So what can we do to help inspire them?
From what I've seen, especially like in society, a lot of times, a lot of people do like the stare, like directly just keep on staring at that person. And sometimes I always say like, hey, if you're gonna like stare, it's like at least like most of the time, people don't mind if you ask them a question, as long as it's not extremely inappropriate. Like if you're like, hey, it's like, do you need any help with that? Or like, hey, it's like, how's your day going? Or like, hey, I'm like, do you need help navigating? Like most of the time asking for help in a polite way, or if you ask, like, hey, how did you end up in the position that you are in now currently? A lot of people don't mind that, as long as it's said in a very like positive, not like sarcastic way, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I've seen people get really upset in public when my friend had her service dog and somebody started yelling at her like, hey, you're not supposed to have pets in here, without looking over and seeing that it had the vest on.
Okay. My next thing is fashion. Are you into fashion, or you just like fashion?
I'm kind of into it, but also I just kind of like it. And by fashion, I mean like there's a kind of like a group where we don't fully go with what like the trends are. And basically, I would say like fashion trends change all the time.
Yeah.
So everyone says that they're on trend, but then you might not be on trend a week afterwards. And my little tip with fashion is like, hey, if you see something in a store and it just really catches your eye and you really like it, and it fits you and you think you look great in it, wear it.
The fashion.
Yes.
Okay.
I was like, and thrifting is basically my way of getting about 85% of my closet. Because it's affordable, especially with all the prices nowadays, and with the amount of fashion and like clothes that are thrown away in fast fashion. Thrifting, I always say, or secondhand is just always the better way to go if you're able to find what you're looking for.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask a crazy question. When we talk about fashion, does Walmart have fashion?
The Walmart, like the big company.
Like Walmart, they got clothes in there. They have fashion.
There's sometimes where I've gone in there to get groceries and I've seen something that caught my eye and I bought it.
Okay.
Most of the time I do try to thrift most of my clothes, but yeah, like sometimes if you go to Walmart, or I've actually gone into Home Depot or Lowe's,
Okay.
or
Yeah.
try to find overalls for painting. Because sometimes, especially if you are looking at something secondhand, there's the difference in like if you walk into a store, they might not have your size.
Gotcha.
So if you can't find it secondhand, then you go to Walmart or you go to like Lowe's or Burger King or like H&M or the mall, and then you might be able to find your size there.
Okay. I'm gonna ask the crowd. I need a little bit of feedback. Does Walmart have fashion
Kind of.
for women? So men can't go in there and get anything.
I mean, you can go there with some work pants. Or
Some
like
work pants.
Just casual
The men's
t-shirts,
section
jeans,
has all the
yeah.
t-shirts.
Yeah.
So so
Like I get a lot of t-shirts from there, like women wearing t-shirts.
so you wouldn't go in there and shop for clothes.
Like for like some drip.
You would go in there and shop.
No.
So the reason I'm asking that is because Walmart sells clothes,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
And back in the day, they used to sell shacks. They used to sell shacks. I don't know if they still got
They do. I think they still do.
Yeah.
it. Okay,
He did great numbers off Shaq's.
right. But when you went to school, you get picked on if you wore them things.
I didn't.
No, I'm just saying, like kids, like, and the reason I'm saying that is because we talking about like body positivity, right? And how does that help with body positivity though? Like with Walmart fashion, you know what I'm saying? Like if that's all somebody can afford though, they go to school to get picked on. How do we help guide them?
Help guide them in a way that like.
Yeah.
For me, I was up until like when I went into high school. I remember my mom wanted me to fall into a certain crowd.
Okay.
I was not in that crowd at all. It was the very preppy crowd, and that crowd basically did make fun of me because I was like, I tried to be like them,
Okay.
and I could tell I was not at that level. Like they were wearing all this brand new stuff, and here I am walking in, sometimes in like thrifted stuff, and it did kind of get to me. But at the same time, if I could go back in high school or I could go back in college and look at my younger self, and I could be like, guess what? I was like, you look great.
Yeah.
You look great in what you're wearing.
Right.
I was like, it doesn't matter what your budget is. Like for me, sometimes I walk into a store and I'm like, my budget is $10.
Okay.
And I can still go in there and most of the time try to pick out an outfit for $10. Yep.
So why men? I mean, I'm just asking. Like us men, we can't go into a fashion store and buy anything for $10. We can't.
If you know where to look.
So where to look?
I always immediately go to clearance sections.
Okay, clearance section. Okay.
And then a lot of times men's fashion actually moves a lot slower than women's fashion.
Okay.
So a lot of women, a lot of times a lot of my friends, if they're looking for jackets and they can't find their size in the women's size jackets, they go to the men's jackets. Because the men's jackets typically sit on the shelves longer than the women's fashion.
And the prices drop. And women are. So what are women willing to spend on a jacket that's been sitting on the shelf?
It depends on the person.
Okay.
I have two separate friends. One of them, she goes into the store and her budget's like $10 to $15.
Okay.
My other friend is $55.
$55. So she must be not. She's not going to a thrift store. She going to like the major brand store or.
She will go thrifting with us.
Okay.
But she is a name brand person.
Okay.
There's a lot of times where people go thrifting and you can find name brands while thrifting. You just have to actually look. And sometimes you can find name brands for really, really cheap. I have one name brand in my closet and a tag on it.
From
Ted Baker.
Ted Baker. So
It's a women's fashion store that's extremely high end. I see the tag and it says $600 and I freaked out. I turned the tag, the current price was $15
the tag was 15.
to buy at that store.
Okay. So my question now is, because we talk about fashion now. I think I like fashion. I like to dress nice and things of that nature. And we talk about body positivity and fashion. My question is, at what point, what do we call fashion and what we don't call fashion? How do you differentiate it?
A lot of times when you're looking at fashion,
Okay.
it just really depends on the person's personality.
Okay, personality. Okay.
Yeah, like I dress where I like a lot of colors, but I also like to incorporate black and with like all my colors. So most of the time I'm either wearing this color pattern. I love red and black together, but I also like to wear a lot of greens and browns because they complement each other.
Okay.
So I like to look at the color scheme and I like to pick colors and pair them together that match. One of my other friends, she only wears black and white.
Black and white.
Only. That's what she calls fashion. She would not call what I wear fashion, and I wouldn't really call what she wears fashion.
So then what is it?
It's almost like a mindset, I guess.
So it's just a mindset. So like it's like not fashion. So we'll say you. So me, what I got on right now is just fashion.
For you, yes. Like this is your style, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
And then what you have on, what you call that fashion?
Yeah. This
Now-
is my style.
Man, ask y'all. I need y'all to give me some feedback. Give me some feedback. Is this fashion? Would you say this is fashion?
Yes.
Would y'all consider this fashion?
Yeah, business fashion.
Okay, so would this be fashion?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Give me some. I need some of y'all like, it look. I mean, it could be. I don't know. So that's why I'm asking. What y'all think?
Because it's her personality.
Okay.
Yeah, you can
Okay.
tell from what she's got on, and then there's a little bit of compliment from the jacket
Right.
that goes
To the
with her
red,
inner.
the red.
You can tell
inner
effort was
being.
put into it.
Yes.
That-
It
she
just ain't
thought
a
about-
t-shirt going on. It's just going out the day.
That's going. Y'all know what? That's going to help her more with this positivity.
Yeah.
And that's what the object is. That's what I'm
Yeah,
asking
so-
everybody.
The thing is most of the time, a lot of my friends, like 2 of them, they put on their clothes and they put a lot of effort into it. They spend like an hour on their outfit. They go out and all they want is a compliment. And a lot of times, I know that, I know there's a lot of.
So they got to get prepped at 2 hours before. So you can't say we're going out at 8. You got to be like, we're going out at 6.
Yeah, sometimes
So-
we like plan the day before.
So that when it comes 7:30,
Yeah.
you be like, all right, y'all ready? So something
I
like
just
that.
have outfits already picked out in my closet because I like.
You already have it in.
Oh, yeah.
But your friends don't have it in. They got to kind of like.
And I know that like a lot of times people think that like one of my friends is like, oh yeah, she goes, I bet men just like throw on random crap in their closet.
Is that right, man?
Yeah. What was it?
Exactly. Like no, it's you guys also think out your outfits,
Do
right?
as men, do we just go and just throw our clothes on? And we just go in there and just go.
Exactly. And a lot of people don't think it's normal. Like a lot of people don't think it's normal. Like when one of my guy friends was like, I would really like a compliment once in a while. Like we were all in the group and we have one of our friends and he wears suits. That's his thing. He likes to wear suits. He likes to be all dressed up.
Right.
And that's the only time with being with the guy in the group that I've ever heard other people compliment him. I think that's kind of sad because I'm like, they might put in the same amount of effort that I do in my outfit, and they want, a little bit of that positivity back to them when we're all walking, and people walk by and compliment everyone else's outfit, but what about them?
I get that. So my next thing is social media. Again, we can talk about social media being influence. So there's social media where you see a person raggedy clothes on, like a shirt, like torn up, maybe some pants that's not really what you would wear, maybe some shoes that's talking to you, got some little holes up in them. If they come and ask you for some money, how you gonna treat them?
Like if they just walk up to me,
They walk up to you, it's just you outside, and that's it. And they go, hey, can I get $20? We're gonna go $20. Because people right now, they ask for real money. Now, they didn't ask for no dollar like back in the day, like you got spare change. No, not today. They ask for what they want, $20.
I mean, like if you're not carrying any cash on you,
Okay, you got Apple Pay, you got Cash App. Because that's where the people going now. I'm telling you, they're where people going now. So they got their backup already. So they already know you're gonna hit them with they ain't got the cash. You got Cash App? You gonna tell the truth or you gonna lie?
but I have cash out.
Yeah.
If I have any money on my cash out.
So you're gonna tell you in the dark.
Oh, in the
You
dark.
brave. In the dark.
Nah.
She
Okay, if it's a random guy that comes up to me in the dark,
Yeah.
I have my pepper spray in my bag. Like I'm a female. I'm a female by myself in the dark.
right.
I was like, I'm a female by myself in the dark. Like
So now.
if it is a guy that comes up to me, or like somebody starts like walking up behind me, and it's like in the dark,
Uh-huh.
I'm always aware in the dark. Like
But-
me and all my friends, we're aware. Like
But we talking about body positivity. We talking about
that's more of like
we help it. We help it.
if somebody's coming up behind me and I don't know who it is,
Okay.
and it is in the dark, and I am a woman by myself, unless if they start talking to me and I turn around and I see who it is, and I make sure that they're not coming at me,
Then,
because female safety is important.
okay, so you'd be like, okay, let me get into some light,
Yeah.
and then I can help you.
Yes. Like if I'm in the dark by myself, like I need to make sure that I know my surroundings. And that's just something that me and all my female friends were taught
Okay.
at a young age. Like we were taught if somebody approaches you in the dark and you don't know who they are,
Mhm.
make sure to check your surroundings and make sure that you like have something on you just in case you need to protect yourself. Body positivity is more like, oh, it's like they're looking for money to help with food or clothes. That's a different subject. Not walking up to somebody in the dark.
Okay. But they might be hungry. They might be wanting to come and look at theirs. Gonna be like,
Like if it's to help somebody with money or food, yeah. But if it's like somebody coming straight up behind you in the dark, like at first I'm gonna make sure
you
that we're
want
all
to show you good.
yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna ask y'all a question. If it's y'all out there, you in the dark. All right, we already know y'all ain't carrying no cash. We know this. All right, we know this. All right, so if I'm out there, I know y'all ain't carrying no cash. Half of y'all are looking like all carry cash. So I know y'all ain't carrying cash. Y'all got cash here.
Yeah.
Y'all helping out. Y'all gonna give it $20.
Nope, not 20.
But I
It
ain't
depends, like
I need to know what each of the
How y'all not giving $20?
I need to know.
They come out, they hungry. They say we hungry. I'm hungry.
I'll buy
I
him
need
something.
$20.
I'll take him somewhere. Yep. I'll buy him
Yeah, get
something.
them something to eat.
Yep.
Buy something to eat.
But so you wouldn't get other money.
No,
Nope.
because one time I actually bought somebody something to eat because they said they was hungry.
Okay.
And then when I gave it to him, he looked at me crazy. The same person I gave some money to went on drugs with it. 10 minutes later, after I sit and observe, so you just never really know. I mean, the world's crazy, so I will offer food first.
It's like
Offer
an
resources.
extended warranty. You always say no.
well, you know what? I like that one because honestly, I always tell people no. For real. I be like, no, I don't have it. That's just me. I be like, no, I ain't got it. And the only reason is because, like, I believe in God. I'm a Christian. But I don't think sometimes, I'm like, God got to talk to me.
Yeah.
He got to be like, yo, give him that money. Like, yo, yes, give her the money. If he don't say that, I'm like, nah, I'm cool. I don't care if I got cash out, because if they ask me something, no. They can't go to my phone.
True.
Right? That's positive body for me. Positive body affirmation for me. So that's why I say no. You know what I mean? So, kind of, as we move along, are you on social media?
Yep. I have a TikTok and then I have a Instagram, but I'm kind of switching over from I did a lot of like Comic Cons.
Okay.
So I'm switching over, like I still do Comic Cons, so I still dress up, and that's when I did most of my panels, but I'm kind of switching over to more like a vlog, but I haven't like made that switch yet.
So what's your social media? If somebody want to find you, like, how they supposed to find you? Like, hey, that's the girl that was in the live. Like, how do I find you? If somebody out there that want to find you, they got their cash up ready. They got their cash up ready. $20.
I know, I'm laughing. I had one of my friends come up with a name. So my hands have not grown since 5th grade.
Okay.
So she thought it would be funny to name me Baby Hands on social media. So my social media is Baby Hands.
That's what your social media name is. Baby Hand.
Underscore and then just C, because like I originally got into cosplay on social media, but I still kind of make costumes and do stuff like that, but I like switched over to more of a vlog.
Baby Hand underscore
C. Just the letter C.
What does C stand for?
It used to stand for cosplay.
Stand for Cash App. Alright, so as we end this right here, what is the thing that you want to give back to those who are watching as far as like just, I know we talked about a lot, body positivity, disability, fashion.
Basically, if you are scared because you have a disability, or you are scared to like just be like, oh, I have this really like fun outfit in my closet, but I feel like people are going to like judge me, or people are going to take photos, and people are going to say bad things. Just wear the outfit.
Just what happened?
Like, you have like one life, right?
Got
You
it.
have one life. You're here right now.
Okay.
You're alive. You can like go out, just come out and be yourself. Like a lot of people try to like hide their personality, and they're like, oh yeah, if I wear like this certain outfit, then I'll just like blend it. Sometimes you don't need to blend it. Like your disability, that's you.
Okay.
Like, that's where, like, you were, you know, either born with it or something happened, and that's just, you know, like, yeah, that's the way it is. I used to be ashamed that, like, I had, like, ADD. And I was like, oh, I'm like, I can never focus. And I'm like, now that I'm an adult, I'm like, hey, cool, I can multitask really well.
Okay. But nobody when you had, that's not out, right? That's like something in your ADHD.
Yeah, I didn't really start, like, telling a lot of my friends until later. One of them knew, but we've known each other going on 18 years.
Okay.
So, and then she started voicing hers out loud to me. And then sometimes it's like, if we, like, notice something's happening, we just are like, hey, like, you good? You okay? Like, a lot of times people are afraid to be themselves when, what are you really afraid of? That somebody's going to make one bad comment? What if you're missing out on somebody's really good comment? You're missing out on somebody being like, oh, I love your outfit. I'd love to, you know, wear that out in public. And then you're like, hey, you should. And then it starts a train. Or trail.
Okay. Well, Liz, thank you for your time. I really appreciate you for being on here. And yeah, hopefully we be on more podcasts and all that great things.
I hope so. I've only ever done panels up until this, so I'm like, this is new.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So that was Liz. Everybody, make sure you guys go and follow Liz. Not only follow Liz, make sure y'all go and follow Loopy Larry's on social media. Make sure y'all also go and subscribe to Frazierchronicles YouTube channel. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, all of those great things that's out there. Our next guest here on Frazierchronicles Live Podcast here at Loopy Larry's is DeJuan Thomas. DeJuan Thomas is a elected. He's the youngest commissioner here in Paducah, Kentucky. So y'all welcome to the stage, DeJuan Thomas. Yes, so being the youngest, talk us through it.
Yeah, it's really a blessing. You know, all honor goes to God. He's led me in this path and brought me to where I am today. I've had a village of family, friends, even like here at Loopy Larry's, they've been a big supporter of my campaign and everything. And yeah, just getting here. I actually ran for mayor 4 years ago. I was 21, so I was one of the youngest in Kentucky because the minimum age is 21 to run for mayor in Kentucky. I was here during COVID. That's why I give honor to God because he put me on this path. I was here because of COVID. I was on spring break. COVID shut everything down, so I'm here. And there's a mayor election going on. And, you know, I served in the military, so I was in the Army National Guard, and I got out honorably. But they always told me I was a politician there because when things aren't right, I speak up about it, and they don't like that in the military, and they don't like it here either. But we're getting better. But I saw there was things not being talked about, our south side, our roads, our sidewalks, and I'm like, I'm going to speak up about it. So I ran for mayor as a write-in candidate because it was past the deadline.
Okay.
And I only got 500 or so votes out of about 5,000 or 6,000 voters. But for my first time ever running for office, that was a good feat. And being a write-in candidate in such a big city. So from there, I went and ran for city commission the next election cycle. I missed it by 500 votes. So,
wow.
But you know, I was still getting my feet. But people were finally getting to realize, okay, this young man really has it because I've had a lot of experience in my young life. You know, I was the youngest supervisor with CSC in Louisville. That's Contemporary Services Corporation.
Okay.
I was supervising people doubling to triple my age. From there, I was the regional management intern for Body Armor Sports Drink. I actually got that handed to me by the CEO, Mike Rapoli. I don't know if y'all may know him, but he worked with, I think it's Kobe Bryant, to start the Body Armor company or Body Armor Sports Drink. Got to say it right. But so I was doing that. I was doing the work with regional manager. So I was managing partnerships with Target, Meijer, Kroger, Walmart. It was a lot. But this time I won my election. I had 4,590 or so votes, and it was amazing because I was out in the community. I showed that I'm dedicated, I'm committed, and I'm serious because, you know, I'm great for the people that got elected beside me, but I just felt the need for more transparency, more accountability. And I think we're on the right path when we're getting there. And I've already started work, and I've been in meetings and orientations, meeting with the department heads. But I don't want to steal all your questions and get into everything. I can ramble. But yeah.
Good. My question is, you know, a lot of young folks today are afraid to jump. And what I mean by jump, they're afraid to do things. What would you tell that young kid who's afraid to do things?
Wow. Well, first and foremost, put your faith in God, you know, and I know there's a lot of different religions out there, but I'm just saying, you know, God is the center of my life, and putting my faith in Him really helped out. You know, I was raised in the church, We're Memorial Church of God in Christ, and I served in multiple ministries, House of Hope ministries, Steward Girl ministries, different things. And really those moments, because I would get put down and sometimes, people making negative comments, talking about me, satire pages and whatnot. But when I realized, like, take your faith out of man, because they ain't the ones, of course they're going to vote, but it's God guiding them and everything like that. But it was just having that faith and having that foundation set on Christ, because without him, and then without a passion, why are you doing it? I had to learn, I believe that's why I didn't win my first time for commission, because I didn't have that passion honed in. But this campaign, being so involved, like with our homeless community, and just being out at every event I could be at, I really felt that passion with people and just serving people.
Okay, so you are a Christian. I'm a Christian. I'm a youth pastor.
Yeah.
I'm a youth pastor. All right. So when I sit down and I talk with little kids and all the kids in my church, teens and all that, the biggest thing that I see today is that there's nobody young like them trying to do certain things.
Yeah.
So it's like you got a lot of older folks, and it's like the young kids are like, well, I don't see nobody that look like me.
Yeah.
All right. So how do you think, or how do you feel that you changed that in a position that you?
Yeah, so a big thing for me, because even growing up, I didn't see anybody my age running for office or doing anything.
Right.
And really, I've been involved with the schools. Like, I've been trying to, I got voted in November. This is just December, so it's not a lot of time, but I've been trying to get as involved as I can be. So I've been showing up, like, for the ROTC at Tillman, because I was an ROTC kid, maybe junior ROTC. So went to one of their big events and just showed face, talk to them, encourage them and let them know, like, hey, this is what a commissioner is. Because many people don't know what a commissioner even does. Right. And then also with the middle school, I just did I was a judge for one of their big extravaganzas that they had going on, just to get my feet in the door, and then they can hear, oh, our city commissioner's here. What is that? Just so their curiosity. Right. And then I want to continue that. It's consistency. Consistency is a big thing. So making sure I'm consistent for the youth and showing them, hey, this is what you could do. Like, the only thing stopping you is you, so don't let anybody discourage you because you're young from doing things big. Because God has opened so many doors for me. I know it's kind of extraordinary, some of the things I've been able to do at a young age, but it's just pushing myself really, and having family behind me that push me, and a good circle, having a supportive circle of people that are like-minded, that are positive, and then surrounding yourself with people that are better than you. Not like in a condescending way, but people that are successful. I surrounded myself with several mentors throughout life, like from lawyers to even out in Hollywood, because I did entertainment and everything. I have a TV show and all that stuff. But surrounding myself with people that are at the level I want to be at was a good way of getting it. So I want to be that person for the youth. I hope that answers the question.
Oh, no, you answered the question. You answered the question. So when we talk about entertainment, how does entertainment, or let me put it like this, did you think that you would be a county commissioner, or did you think more so like entertainment?
So, and I've finally shared this a little bit more, but when I ran for mayor, I won't say it was a joke, but it was kind of like, let's see if I can get my name out there. Because I was doing interviews, celebrity interviews, and that was kind of the path I was going to go in, because I was in LA hanging out with celebs and things. So I was in that field of things. So I was like, this can boost my name up. Right. And then when I did it, and people really started coming to me with concerns, and I'm like, oh, this is serious. Like, this is serious. But it all worked out the way it was supposed to. So now and I've seen, there's a guy, Jeff Jackson, he's a congressman out of North Carolina, and he does some videos, and I would watch him. He would talk about the entertainment side of things, because when you watch the news, you see these congressmen or anybody on TV, like Marjorie Taylor Greene comes to mind, because she's one of the big names you always see on there, and they talk about her and stuff. Yeah. But there is a showmanship side of it, and it's a negative and a positive thing, depending on how you use it. Because if you're just using it to clout chase or build your name, and you're not actually putting action behind it, you're failing your community. So I've found a way, because my campaign, I marketed it all myself. So I use my entertainment side to help boost me, because, everybody else is having to hire a videographer or editor and hire people to do their social media marketing, but I did it literally all myself. My handouts, my mailers. So I think it did help out, honestly, having that entertainment background to push me forward.
Okay, and that's so as a county commissioner, you're having politics.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we don't get politics.
As city commissioner.
Or city commissioner.
Yeah.
Okay, so how does the presidential election affect what you got going on?
That is a perfect question, because a lot of people don't realize if it's Joe Biden or if it's Donald Trump, your streets will not be fixed because of them. It's going to be the commissioners. It's going to be the mayor. Well, and one thing with a commission is people don't understand. They mix it up with city council. We're not a city council. City council is under a mayor. As a commission, we're equal power to the mayor. So the mayor has no more power than us, and we have no more power than him. And we're all equal across the board, and we run the entire city. So the presidential election doesn't affect us. That's why local politics and local government are important. When your roads aren't fixed, when your sidewalks look like crap,
Right.
you complaining because Donald Trump or President Biden are in there isn't going to change anything. Pay attention to your local elected officials.
Right.
They're the ones that manage the money and everything. Because I was just going over the budget yesterday, about a $47 million budget for our city, and going through all the departments and everything. And it's like, oh, this is where the decisions are really made. Like, it's not president or even governor, even though that can trickle down economics, whatever they say. But at the end of the day, local politics are what really make a difference at home.
Right. So, and that's something that I said, even like with this past presidential election, I said, you know, everybody's focused on the president, but you do get on your ballot those people in your state, you know, state representative, people that's going to represent you, me, and anybody else, right?
Supposed to.
Right. You said the right word. You're supposed to, right? So when we look at all of these things, right, what are some of the things that you want to do in your state?
Good question. So right now, as a city commissioner, my focus is on the city. So I can't advocate for things on the bigger level because I can call the representative in my official capacity. But for the most part, just starting out with our city is just making sure we're on the right track of using our tax dollars right and doing it equitably. So not just focusing on this neighborhood because my buddy or my friend or family live here, but making sure we're doing it all across the board. And I think we are getting on that right path, especially with our south side. It's become a priority and an actual priority that's getting acted on. So we have plans and phases ready for that to start redeveloping that area, getting homes over there, and just revitalizing it, but not gentrifying it, because that's a big thing too. You'll get a neighborhood that's run down, put $300,000 homes and kick the people that live there out, and that's not doing anything for the community. That's just kicking people lower and out of the city. So, but on the state level, you know, my focus is really just on the city and making sure we're doing what's right here. And then eventually I do want to run for higher office, and then I'll try to focus more on that stuff.
So that's here in Paducah?
Yeah, Paducah, Kentucky.
All right, who lives here in Paducah?
Woo!
All right, so what do we need? What we need?
Sidewalks
Like-
fixed, the potholes fixed.
So the biggest thing is pothole.
Yeah.
That's it. So that's
Literally.
it.
No, there's a lot to be done. There is a lot, especially with the homelessness. That's a big thing that's coming up, that's becoming a commission priority because, you know, we have a homelessness issue here. And not issue as in like they're an issue, but finding ways to give them a hand up. Because a lot of people don't just want to help. The previous questions you were asking about, you know, homeless thing where people begging for money. But I don't believe in handouts, but I believe in hand up. So getting people to the next level. But if they don't want to get to that level, then that's on them at that point. Like if you're giving them resources, giving them ability to have a home for 2 years and they just got to save money so they can eventually get their own place, and they're not doing that, then they don't want to do better at that case. And I know mental health plays into it. So really, I don't have all the answers because that's not my expertise, but it's getting people that are experts. Like we have Paducah Cooperative Ministries. They do an awesome job feeding homes to underprivileged people here. The Warming Center, you know, they help people during the winter. And there's the community kitchen. There's so many programs here, and that's what my last campaign, I spent a lot of time with these different groups so I could better understand and know, hey, these are the experts. So when we need something done, we can't just be up here behind this big desk talking about, oh, this is what we're going to do. No, what do we need to do is the real question. So that's a big priority right now, too.
As we get close to the end, are you on social media?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Where can I find you?
Yeah, so you can find me at DewanThomas.com. That's my main website, my main hub. And also Thomas for Paducah, F-O-R Paducah, P-A-D-U-C-A-H on Facebook, and Dewan_Thomas on all social platforms. You can Google me, but it's D-U-J-U-A-N, Thomas, T-H-O-M-A-S. And then also, like I said, I have my TV show, Dewan Thomas Live, but if you search Dewan Thomas, you'll see it all. So.
And that's on all social media?
All social media platforms, Dewan_Thomas is normal handle. So, Instagram and everything.
And before I let you go,
Yes, sir.
what is something you could tell that young kid? Right now, we kind of in the lost generation. Yeah, makes sense. What would you tell a young kid who's out there and don't really have no guidance? Yeah, they want to do what they want to sit and see you say what they got to do to sit and see.
Definitely. And to revisit one of my previous answers is just keeping your faith in God, finding that foundation, find a good spiritual leader that can help guide you in the right direction. And you know, in this day and age, you don't have to go to church to meet God. You don't have to go to church to be saved. You can find God by reading your word, praying, and just trying to find that leader that can help guide you in that right direction. And also just have a good circle of people, because my best friends from middle school are still my friends today. And we all went to the Army together. We all made good decisions. So, and it's not to say like shun people. If you can help somebody do better, help them do better. But for the most part, just continue to elevate yourself, keep your faith in Christ, and keep going. Don't let anybody hold you back from doing what you have that passion for in your heart.
Oh yeah. It was nice having you on the show. Learned so much information. And I pray, that you have more success up the chain and up that level, because I know that's something that you want to do. And then I hope that, God grants you everything that your heart desires.
I appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Thank you
sir.
for having being on here.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. What's up, everybody? Make sure y'all go and subscribe to Goofy Larry's here in Paducah, Kentucky. Make sure that y'all subscribe online to all of our Preacherchronicles podcasts here on Preacherchronicles podcast. Make sure you guys go out and check up all these social medias, man. There's great people on here, great topics. People that you can reach out to, talk to, people that's entrepreneurs. There's entrepreneurs here, commissioners here. There's so many people here on that I've had here on the Preacherchronicles podcast. The next person to come on my podcast is Danita Turner. I don't know how I don't want to say that, mess up that name. She's a Loopy Larry's co-owner. She's Miss Kentucky Petite here in Paducah, Kentucky, and a serial entrepreneur. Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome Miss Turner to the stage.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm doing well.
And I'm glad to have you here. First off, I want to congratulate you on your being Miss Kentucky Petite. My thing about it is, can you walk us through that journey? I'm quite sure it was a hard journey, but I want you to be able to walk us through it.
Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity. So I am Jeanette Mahavir Turner, and I am the newly appointed Mrs. Kentucky Petite 2025. And it is Petite USA, that's the pageant system.
Okay.
There are various pageant systems in America. And so Petite USA is the largest pageant system for women 5, 6, and under. Many of the pageant systems require that you are 5'7" as a minimum height requirement. A lot of people probably don't know that. And so it's the largest system for 5, 6, and under. I'm 5'5", so I made it. Now, there are 5 categories. They have the teens and the Miss and the MS, which is, the shorter version of Miss. Miss is for those who are married, which is the category that I'm appointed for. And then you have the elite, which is women over a certain age group. They could be married or unmarried, with children or without children. And so the process, because some of the states do not actually hold an actual pageant to select those queens, it is by appointment. So I am appointed as the Mrs. Petite Kentucky to represent the entire state of Kentucky in the national pageant, which is in Chicago, Illinois, in July of 2025. And to talk about the process, what that was like for me, right? And I love to share this because a lot of people think that when they see someone successful, that they just became successful, they didn't have any obstacles, they didn't have any struggles, they didn't get delayed, denied, or anything like that. And I'm here to tell you, if you're watching, that I don't want you to be idolized by the fact that I'm crowned, because I did face obstacles with that. So about a year and a half ago, I can remember I applied for the same pageant system. I was super excited. Because it's appointments, you have to fill out this long application, answer various questions regarding what your impact is in your local community. So I thought, okay, I'm going to apply for this. I did everything. I got an email that said, the selection team, the committee, moved me on to the semifinals. And so there's a board that determines who moves on and who is appointed for each category in each state. So I got that, and I got very super excited. And then a few weeks later, to be notified that I was not selected for the title. And I didn't get discouraged. I just kept on doing what I do in my community and keep adding to that. And the opportunity came back again. I decided to reapply. And I got that email, hey, you're in the semifinal, you're a semifinalist. And I was like, yeah, I'm not going to get too excited because I've been there before. And then one day I opened my email and it says, congratulations, you are the newly appointed Mrs. Kentucky Petite USA. So, I say that to say, the process was not very easy, but they look at what you're doing. And I can say that I am doing more in my community now than I've ever done before. So, it's all about the impact you're making on the people in your community, and what are you doing to make change. And so I'm so super honored to be representing the state at a national level.
Um,
A mouthful.
so that seemed like a setback. Somebody probably would have been like, okay, hey, I'm not going to do it again,
Right.
because of discouragement. So my question is, what motivated you to be like, I'm doing it?
My story is a little bit different. I grew up very poor. I grew up in a single parent home. I grew up in a third world country. A lot of people don't know that. I was born and raised in Jamaica. My mom was a single mom. She had 5 kids, and she was the breadwinner of the family. And so I had a big dream of being in the United States from I was the age of 7 or 8. And I remember the first time I went for my United States visa, you pay about 30,000 Jamaican dollars, which was at the time about 250 US dollars. A lot of people work a whole month to make that, not to mention the bills coming out of that. So imagine saving that up, that's going to take you way more than a month.
Right.
I was 18 years old when I first applied for my United States visa. I saved my own money, but it's like a gamble. You're not going to get the money back. You can be denied, and you have to wait 6 months to reapply. And so I took all my money at 18 years old, applied for this United States visa, went to the embassy, only to be denied. So that put me in a state of depression for a while, because now I don't have the money and I didn't get what I went to gamble for.
Right.
So
Right.
had I given up then, I would not be sitting here beside you or be living in the United States today.
Right.
But to answer your question, I don't get discouraged because one person told me no. I've always heard there's many ways to skin a cat, and sometimes, and for me, with getting the first United States visa, that meant traveling to, like Caribbean countries that did not require a visa, to get some travel in my passport so that they can look back and see that I came back to my country, or, whatever the reason is for denying me, thinking I was going to run off and never come back, and so there's different channels that you can take to success. And so not because somebody told you no, doesn't mean that you need to like put yourself in a hole and curl up and hug your knees. It means, what can I do differently? How can I go harder? Do I need to change some things that I'm doing to enhance what I'm trying to accomplish?
Right.
And so that's what I've done. I don't take no for an answer.
Right.
I don't.
Right. So and I believe that's what motivates people, and that's what the desire is. Because out here, and we want to talk about your entrepreneur and your entrepreneur side, but I think that in order to be a successful entrepreneur, you're going to get some no's. And you've already experienced some no's. So now it's like, no, it was yes for me. It just means I just got to work hard.
Absolutely.
So moving down to your, getting into the entrepreneur side, you are the co-owner of the Relays. And can you walk us through being the co-owner of the Relays? You got a cool husband. He's cool. So I want to know, walk us through that.
Well, it's a long story, but we'll keep it short. I met my husband while I was working the Kevin Hart concert in Nashville at the Bridgestone Arena. I was working the VIP section and he was attending the event. He just said something silly and funny and he cracked me up and he broke the ice, and we stood there talking for about 28 minutes as per his timer. And so anyway, when I met him, he already had Lucy Larry's, and they've been in business since 2019. And he had a business partner named James Tyler. And, they were still in business doing things together. And I was just, his girlfriend, who quickly became his fiance, by the way. So, and, I just kind of like supported him from behind the scenes. And, in a little thing like that, we talk about struggles that he was having with the restaurant or staffing and stuff. I'll give the suggestions based on my expertise. We then planned to get married in March. He's a guy of numbers freak. So we had set a date for 3/2/1/23, which would have been March 21st, 23. And 2 weeks before that, his business partner passed away. And so, even the Bible tells you there's a time and a place for everything. And so we just kind of postponed everything. And, I told myself I didn't want to even go through like a wedding. I wanted to elope initially. So we decided we were going to just do something very intimate. So when that happened, I was like, we're definitely eloping. So, you know, we got married, his business partner passed away, and that's when I kind of jumped right in to help him on the back end with the administrative stuff and, you know, get my hands wet. And from there, we just became business partners. So,
So now I'm gonna ask a question. I know this. I'm not gonna ask this question. So when you look at relationships, right? How does a woman who is dating a guy who's already got his own business able to support something that you don't really know about? Like, walk us through that stuff. Like you met him, y'all had great conversation. He has a business. Now it's like, okay, hey, if I'm gonna be with you, I have to support you in your endeavors. How does that work if you already got your own business?
well, you know, it's a thing called compromise.
Okay.
You know, and so when I met him, he owns a restaurant, and I'll be strictly honest with everybody, like straightforward. That's not my passion.
Okay.
Like, you know, I've worked in restaurants because I was a single mom. I had to, you know, serve. I had to work 3 jobs just to make ends meet and put myself back on my feet. You know, but the restaurant industry was not my favorite.
Okay.
I did it because I had to do something, and so I was a server at like Waffle House, and you know, but I've always been a hospitality person. I've worked for Sandals Resorts and Spa, Secrets Resort and Spa. My first degree, you know, is hospitality, entertainment, and tourism management. So put me in the hotel, you know. So by the time I met him, I already became a general manager for a downtown hotel in Nashville, managing 30 employees and 114 room hotel. However, there are similarities no matter what industry that you're in. So I was able to take my experiences from managing people and just operational aspect of, you know, running an organization,
right,
and help to apply that to whatever his circumstances were. Recruiting is always going to be the same in terms of structure.
right.
You know, you're looking for a certain type of candidates. You want them to come through your door appearing a certain way. You want them to speak a certain way during the interview and sell themselves. And so there's things that are similar and there's things that are also different. So I was still able to support him in those roles.
Right. And supporting him, I see that you opened up your own shop here in Paducah. Can you give us the name, location, and then walk us through that whole process?
OMG, as my husband would say. He said, you can't put 1 G. You know, when I say OMG, he's like, you missed a G or 2. So I opened a Finders Keepers thrift boutique. And it is a thrift store, but with a little oomph to it.
Got it.
So, you know, a little spunk, I would say. The vision I have for that was, you know, people could come in and, you know, get a complimentary cup of coffee. And, you know, you could read a book, you could sit down for a minute. And it's so personal, it's so intimate. It's not the typical thrift shop that you're used to, where you're digging through bins and you're in this big hollow building. It's so personable. I had the idea of opening a thrift store way before I met my husband. Probably like 5 years ago. I knew I wanted to open one. The time wasn't right, looking for the right location.
Right.
So when I moved to Paducah a year and a half ago, we have actually looked at a few spaces with the intention to either put Loopy Larry's or actually open the thrift store. And so I just kind of worked on the vision for that. And about a week before I actually opened, I found a spot and signed the lease and decided we're going in business.
So I've been to the shop today. There's some nice things there. I don't think a lot of people, like you said, it's not your typical. But there's a lot of things in there. You have the area, like you said, where people can come and get their free coffee. Now my thing about it is, why should somebody shop with you instead of going to these thrift stores that they kind of already know about and kind of like are playing out?
Oh yeah, I have a handful of reasons and answers for that. First and foremost, because we're trendy, we're classy. You can walk in and it's a whole experience is what I say it is. So everybody that walks in, whether you buy something or whether you just look around, browse around and find where we are, you're going to have an experience. You walk in, the first thing, you're smelling the aroma of the nice candle that's burning. You're hearing the jazz music right now, playing Christmas jazz. So while you're shopping, you know, I can hear people humming and they're having a good experience. Well, we also have different things. We are the only thrift store in Paducah that allows you to donate items in exchange for in-store credit. So there are particular days for that and time slots where people can donate items we evaluate that and say, hey, give you $20 credit, in-store credit, use it the same day. They go back in the store, whether they spend 50 or 20, they can walk out with something that's at the same value at no extra cost, or they can find stuff that adds up to more and pay the difference. So, that's something like, for example, today from 9 a.m. to 12 o'clock, we did a filler bag. What's a filler bag? Filler bag for $12. We provide you the bag. We had selective items, whether it's menswear, women's wear, children's wear, and people could come in, get a bag, fill as many bags as you need, as long as the bag could be tied, and they pay $12 for that bag. So we're going to keep doing things like that, different deals. We've hosted events in the space. So a few days ago, we did a free hot tea bar, free wellness talk, and a free scavenger hunt, all in one. We've hosted Zumba in the space. We've invited Healthful Natural Juices to be a part of or Zumba, and he was giving out samples of his 5 different flavors, and people were able to buy the drinks on spot and different things like that. Last weekend, we had Santa Claus there and a professional photographer who was taking pictures of families, and, so we're creating experience.
Right.
And so, there's so many things that sets us apart from every thrift store in the entire region.
Gotcha. Now I want to pivot. You do a podcast.
Uh-huh.
What is the name of the podcast?
All right. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity. I am the founder and host of Voice Thoughts Talk Show and Podcast. It is a society-based podcast, and we talk about anything that can happen in society. Just to give you a few of the topics that I've covered, from postpartum depression to HIV awareness to domestic violence to homelessness. There's so many topics that we have covered and yet to be covered. And so we're wrapping up season 3 right now with suicide prevention and relationship myths, and we're going to get ready to go into season 4 in end of January.
Wow. How long have you been doing that?
Well, I started in January 2023, and it's funny, I had the vision, I knew what I needed to accomplish. I started that podcast in my living room on the couch in Nashville, and my husband, Matt, was my first guest. And not to downplay that, but you had a vision. I just needed a guinea pig, and my husband was my guinea pig. So, and I'm so grateful that he also supports, the things that I do, because I'm like, I just need you to be a guest. He's like, what are we going to talk about? And I was like, well, let's think of a name. So we thought, well, let's do Restaurant Strategies 101. We talked about the things he's passionate about, and we can talk about it in society because we see restaurants closing their doors every single day. So we talked about the actual struggles that he was facing, and the things that he would need to be able to franchise it and find investors.
Nice. So, with all of that going on, 2 businesses, running a family, let's talk about. I see you have a book. What is that book about?
I'm a domestic violence survivor and published author of the book, Leave Alive. Leave Alive is a book that I wrote as a guide to help other victims identify signs to look for.
Right.
You can't know you're being abused if you don't know what signs to look for. And so that's actually me on the cover of the book. I was 7 months pregnant when I left. And that's an actual silhouette of me. And I know God gave me the name of this book, Leave Alive. I don't have to tell you a summary. Once you hear that, it's like a statement.
Right.
And so I've been sharing my story, not as a victim, but as a victor.
Right.
Helping other people to overcome or identify, and to even afterwards, how do you rebuild yourself, rebuild your confidence, your self-esteem? How do you raise your children? And helping them to be able to identify that even with their little friends in school.
Right.
How do you train them to become warriors? How do you train them to identify things that no longer serve them? How do you train them to walk away from those things as well? And so it's a book that encompasses all of that in here. And in the very back of the book, I have a letter to my daughter. So basically she takes the book up sometimes. And when I wrote this book, she was a baby. And now I watch her taking up that book and reading from time to time, Dear Sagila, you are loved, you're valued, you're worth more than, whatever, don't let nobody tell you this or that, and stuff like that. And so so no matter what, she always has that letter from me that she can go back to on days when she may feel low. It may be 30 years from now, it may be 15 years from now. If I'm not around, she got something that she can she can hold on to physically.
So is that book sold in stores, or where is that book at? Where
Yeah,
maybe somebody's
absolutely.
watching who's
Yeah,
going through it?
absolutely. So if you reach out to me, I can personally sign and mail you a copy, and you can work out the details of Zelle, Cash App, Venmo, all of that. It is physically available for sale inside Finders Keepers. So if you are local to Paducah, you can come into Finders Keepers, 2761 West Park Drive, Paducah, Kentucky, and you can purchase your copy there. And so we've been selling way more copies since I opened in the past 2 weeks, because people come in and they're getting an experience with getting to know me as a person. I'm getting to know them as a customer and sharing the story. And I mean, I've sold more books in the last 2 weeks than I sold in the last 2 months. And so it's also available on Amazon. So you can just look it up. Leave Alive, Danette Mahabir is what the title and the author is at the time. I wasn't married yet. So it's just my maiden name there, and it's available and will be shipped to them accordingly.
Okay, and as we kind of start winding down on this podcast, my question is, where can people find you on social media?
Y'all can find me everywhere. Call me the social media guru, they say. So Danette Mahabir Turner is my public figure page. You can find me on YouTube. You can find the talk show, the Voice Thoughts Talk Show and Podcast. We have a Facebook page, a Facebook group, a YouTube channel, a TikTok, and Instagram. You can find us on iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Apple Music, Spotify. Again, you can find the book. We also have a Facebook and an Instagram for the book. So it's called Leave Alive Today. You can find that as well.
All right, and my last thing before I let you go is when it comes to domestic violence, right? You have to first off, like you said, you got to know that you, right? But when you look at domestic violence, how prevalent is it with we know it's with kids, but how do we know it's with adults? Like that's
Oh yes, a lot of people don't understand. Like men endure domestic violence not as equally as women. 1 in every 3 women experience domestic violence. 1 in every 4 or 5 men will experience domestic violence. And there are a lot of statistics out there that you can get online and read about that will tell you per minute. And if you do the math, you're looking at millions of people daily. For the annual that's enduring some form of domestic violence. And when people hear about domestic violence, they immediately think physical. But a lot of people don't understand and they're not aware that domestic violence comes in different forms. You could be verbally abused, you could be sexually abused, you could be psychologically, emotionally abused. It's not just physical. So the book explains all of that and identify, and every chapter ends with a Bible scripture. Okay. That is for that particular topic. So because God inspired me to write that book, and He has brought me through what I experienced, and so that I can be the resilient woman I am today, share my story, and be an advocate for domestic violence.
And I will probably let you go after this one right here. This question right here. I talked to your husband about Lucky Larry's. Now I got to ask you, what is the future for the restaurant?
The future for the thrift store is identical to the future for Lucky Larry's, and so we actually joked around about it, but it's not really a joke. 2 days ago, we're like, what if every time we open a Lucky Larry's, we open a Finders Keepers, and let's say we go to Mayfield, right, where there's a Finders Keepers, there's a Lucky Larry's, and if we did that, I think that would be a good idea. Like, anywhere you find, Finders Keepers, you find a Lucky Larry's, so it might be onto something.
Oh, yeah.
And, we're also looking to franchise it. Again, make your money make sense for you. Make your money make money for you. So franchising, Finders Keepers, franchising, Lucky Larry's, opening a second location and a third and a fourth, and growing organically is what we're aiming to do.
Oh, my. Well, it was nice and a pleasure of having you here. Hope to do more podcasts with you in the future. Don't want this to be the last.
Oh, no, and thank you for coming all the way to Paducah, Kentucky.
Definitely.
And joining us here. We appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right. Everybody make sure, again, y'all go follow Lucky Larry's on social media. All of these great people that I've had on today, make sure y'all go and follow them all those major social media podcasting platforms. Make sure y'all go, again, and go to Lucky Larry's on Facebook and subscribe there as well. I'm going to have the next guest, Miss 8th of August. Sohelia London, 8 years old, Paducah's youngest entrepreneur. Y'all help me welcome Paducah's youngest entrepreneur to the stage. So, my first question for you is, how does it feel to be 8 years old?
I mean, I feel like I'm older.
You feel like you're older?
People think I'm like 14 sometimes. I don't know why.
Is that because you're an entrepreneur?
No, it's probably because I'm just taller than I look.
Oh, so what is Miss 8th of August? What's that?
It's the pageant where you enter and it's like competing against other people like a regular pageant, but in the one I did, it was like different because babies were going against like two older kids, and I mean I don't think it was like at the point where they had it like, I'm not saying it wasn't fair, but like they're like having all these babies against me and other boy named Andrew, and I'm like,
They're like little babies or like?
really like,
Wow. So they
But-
want to get y'all,
they want to win.
but you won't.
Yes.
Okay. So how did you feel to win?
Felt
'Cause
good.
you went early in your life. You went early at the young age.
I mean, I started modeling at 4,
Okay.
so I mean, it was like just different for me to just like feel the experience of like actually winning all these different pageants and being Miss Ava Ballers or Miss this. It doesn't really matter. I'm just happy to be in the community.
Community. Okay. All right. Get in the community. You helping your parents with their things? Are you helping here with nuclears? How do you help with nuclears?
I like help out when it's busy, restock stuff. I don't really mind helping. I just like helping.
And you help everywhere else as well. Treasure, I think, thrift store and things like that.
For sure.
Which one do you like? Which one do you like more?
I gotta say I'm sorry.
Wait. Don't look over there. Don't look over there. Look over here. Which one you like more?
I'm sorry, but I gotta say it's the first word.
You like the thrift store better? you like the thrift store better? Why is it like it's easier work or you
It's like once you walk in, you get that good experience. Like you hear the Christmas music, the scents, the aroma, that candle. You got all that good stuff going on, and then it's like peace and quiet. So you have time to think, or I like that. And then I mean, she just. It's like, it's not too loud in there. I'm not saying Lucky Larry's bad. I'm just saying I don't really like being
Don't
here.
look over there. Don't look over there. Look over here. We talk. We talk. So, as an 8-year-old, do you do your homework over there or do you do your homework here?
I'll have to do my homework over there. That's what I do.
That's a great thing. So, kids your age, that's 8 years old, in your class, do they know you're an entrepreneur?
Yeah, I mean, not all of them.
Okay.
Not all of them believe them famous. I say, hey, think whatever you want, but I'm telling you the truth.
All right. You talked earlier. You said you were on YouTube.
Yes.
All right. Tell me where you at on YouTube.
I did a video on YouTube that also hit 160,000 views though. I got YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and pretty much that's it.
That's it?
So I don't got like more. I just got YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook.
Now, how many of y'all, when y'all were 8, were entrepreneurs?
Nope, not at all.
No? Okay. I mean, so this is that generation where I think that's how generation will start. So everything you learn from both of your parents, make sure you keep with you. You see both of them working hard, make sure you work hard. All right. So before I let you go, what's one thing you want to tell other kids that's your age?
Dream big. Always believe in yourself, because if you ain't believing, you're just going to make it like harder to get to your dream. If you believe more and try like being smart with it and know like, hey, go ahead and think ahead so you know if anything happens and be prepared.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna let you go, and I thank you for having me here on Preacherchronicles podcast. And we're gonna get into the next guest. So again, make sure y'all go and follow Lucky Larry on Facebook. Make sure y'all follow Preacherchronicles on all social media platforms. That's Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, anywhere you can find major podcast platform or podcasts, Apple, Spotify, iHeart, everywhere. The next guest that I'm going to have is Christina Mingle. If I said it wrong, let me know. She has some big topics with adoption, foster care. She's an advocate. So y'all help me welcome Christina to the stage. Well, first off, how does it feel to be here?
Well, I didn't expect it.
See, I know it. That's what I'm asking. That's what I'm asking.
Yeah, it was pretty unplanned. So,
Okay.
but it's interesting.
Okay. So you got some things with adoption and foster care?
Mm-hmm. Having lived foster care.
You said
Lived foster care.
so you live foster. So you live foster care. Okay. So how's foster care? I don't know. I just want to get some perspective. How's foster care?
So I didn't live in it all my life like a lot of other people.
Okay.
So when I was younger, I always thought of it as just like what they always perceive of like you go out and find a new happy family and stuff. But it's a lot more complicated and it comes with a lot more complications. It is stressful.
So when you became a part of that foster care adoption system, my question is, what was your thoughts? Like, walk us through the thoughts that you had.
A lot. Because the way I got into foster care was very traumatic. It was a whole situation with family and stuff, and then going into something I didn't know anything about, and was also traumatic, and so it was just very.
So being in this system, was this a part of, or going in, was it during your time like your team?
Mm-hmm.
And then when it was part of the team, did it affect you in school anytime?
I was a pretty good student. I mean, I still have my A's. I passed every class, but it affected me mentally.
Okay.
I was a teen when I was going into foster care. I was about an adult. I was around 16 years old.
Okay, so 18 is aging out.
Yeah.
So 18.
Well, it can be.
Okay.
If you what's the word I'm looking for? Recommit.
Okay.
You can stay until you're 21. That's when they provide you housing and tuition and extra stipend.
That's state law.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you're an advocate.
Mm-hmm.
Advocate of foster care.
Basically for people who have went through those same kind of situations as I have, and also have dealt with foster care, and anyone with mental health situations.
Got you. So when it comes down to like these things, how do you help? Like, is it one of those things where it's like you're trying to get somebody kind of like adapting to it, or just kind of like trying to help them guide them through life, like it's gonna be okay, this is what I want to do?
Yeah, whatever they need, basically. I try to do it more from a spiritual perspective.
Okay.
Personally, try and get them involved with Christ. Well, let me backtrack on that. Let them know that Christ is there for them, and if they are seeking that relationship, I can help and guide them with that, offering support in that situation, and then also just offering mental and connection type support.
Gotcha.
I've only really connected with a few. It's not like you just know who to go out and find and help with those kinds of situations, but it's basically just giving myself, my presence, and my time to whoever in whatever way they need.
Wow. So now at this point in your life, what are some things that you could tell young folks now that might be going into this? Because like you said, you weren't in there the whole time, but there are some that's like from birth, they going straight into the system.
Yeah.
So like, how would you think you could guide them to like, hey, it's gonna be okay, even though theirs is from like, hey, I was a baby and I was in this system. You're like, hey, I was a teen, I was in this system. So what feedback would you give?
First, I would give advice to say forgive, because a lot of the time when you're into that situation, you blame your family, you blame the ones who were supposed to be there for you, your mother, your father, your whoever could have been that,
Right.
and wasn't that. So learning forgiveness, looking for Christ.
Okay.
Looking for Him as a support system, because even when you really follow Christ, you can feel His presence. You know He's there. You know He cares. You know He loves, and it helps you to really push through that. Because when I got into foster care, really connecting with Christ was really what helped push me through that.
Okay.
And then I would also tell them, like, this isn't all that it is. Like, you're not just a foster kid. Because a lot of the times they're trying to make you think that you're just a foster kid. And so just tell them, like, that's not all you are, and that's not all that you end up to be, and that's not you can be more. You don't have to settle for less. You don't have to you can be whatever you want.
So were you a Christian when you were born into the system?
Yeah, I was raised as a Christian.
Okay.
I just didn't really understand how it all worked because I was young. Like, I didn't really know how connecting with Christ was. I thought you just read your Bible and you went to church and that was it.
That was it.
No.
So my thing is now, like, so are you on social media, doing anything with social media?
Not with this, no.
Okay. So are you on social media?
Yeah.
Where you at on social media?
I have Instagram, Facebook. That's better.
Okay, what's the name? Because somebody out there might be like, hey, I'm in foster care right now, I'm seeing this, let me go over here and like see what feedback I can get.
Okay, I think both of mine are just Chris Mango,
Okay.
17. And I think that's both of my usernames.
No underscore.
No, just capital C, capital S. Okay, that's what it is. It's Christy, okay, CHRISTY.mango, MANGO 17 for my Instagram. And I think my Facebook is the Chris Mango 17.
Gotcha. So before I let you go, how has the walk been from going into the system, getting out of the system? Like, how is that?
Hard. All of it's hard, but going into it, it was basically like a truck. Like you were just hit by a truck because you didn't know what when you're put into the system, like out of the blue, not through birth. They don't tell you anything. Doesn't matter how old you are. They won't tell you where you're going. They won't tell you how far it is. And if you don't know the city, you won't know where you're at because I was more sheltered. I lived in Mayfield, and I didn't know any of the other cities other than Paducah and Mayfield. So I went out to Hickman, never heard of Hickman, never heard of Henderson, never heard of all these other cities that they had sent me to. Didn't know how far it was, and couldn't communicate with anyone I knew. So it's literally like a truck, emotionally, physically, geographically, and that's how you start out. And then going through it can also be like a truck because you're with these random people you don't know, and they expect you to be a certain way and act a certain way and eat a certain way and talk a certain way, and if you don't, then you move.
So when you say you move, they make a call and you move, or is it like?
Yeah, they basically call your social worker and you're probably gone within the next few hours. And you're not even informed anything of it until the social worker is there and you're shipped off. Yeah.
So has that happened?
Yeah, I had to move to 3 different homes in the span of like 3 months.
Because you didn't like
fit to their mold. Yeah.
What's fit to their mold? So like you could be in a house that's like, is it like we're a white family or we're a black family?
So the first one, I was in foster care with my sister. My sister is gay.
Okay.
The first one was a white household with 2 kids, and they were a pastor's family. They didn't like that she was gay. They knew that she was gay, but they thought they could mold her into straight. And when that didn't happen, they got rid of both of us. Second home was Puerto Ricans from Puerto Rico. They were more relaxed, but they were one of them corrupt families.
Okay.
They had a lot of stuff they shouldn't have of foster youth and stuff, and we had to leave them about a month after. And then the third home was where we settled at, which is a black family. I was more used to a black household. There was still a lot of disconnect because they were also a pastor's house, but they wanted me to act a certain way and dress a certain way, and I wasn't used to that style, and they also wanted me to see them as the mother and the father of the household, and I was obviously not going to accept that as a 16-year-old who had what I would consider a mother and a father.
Right.
So that's kind of how the family situations are. You sometimes stick, and sometimes they're good, and sometimes they're not.
So going to the part where so the third family stable, and you got weak. So how is that like? So like when the age out period comes, okay, hey, you're 18 or you graduated, and then it's like, okay, bye, or is it like, hey, you got 30 days?
You can stay if the family and you agree that you want to stay. You can go to an organization that works with aged out youths, which is where you recommit.
Okay.
Or you can just leave.
And you chose to do it.
I recommitted.
Okay, so you just go to the recommit, come back in, and then how was that? Was that different?
Basically, they just, you pick which city you want to live in, and they see if they have any availabilities of housing there, and you can stay in that housing until you're 21, and they'll provide you with tuition. They pay you monthly for groceries and stuff, and also offer any services you may need.
Okay, I'll let you after this. What would you say to those kids that are out there that's like, hey, I'm about to age out? What should I?
I think you should recommit, because when I was in there, I didn't want to recommit because I didn't want to have anything else to do with the foster care system. It was just too stressful. Everyone there was stressing me out. My social worker was treating me bad. Everyone, it was just crazy. No matter what the situation is, I think you should recommit, because they do give you more freedom. You are more your own person, and it also really, really helps you to get to where you want to be in life. Because right now, I have a testimony, and I'm very proud of that from where I started, because I was also from a poverty house. So being in that had really helped me financially to get off my feet and actually do what I wanted to do.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad you being on the show and giving up some nuggets. Those big nuggets right there. Is there anything you would like to say before you? So stay in the fight.
Yeah, stay in the fight and give it to God.
Gotcha.
You'll make it work.
Cool. All right, that's my time with Christina, and basically, kind of running out of time. I think I got about 3 minutes, 3 minutes left. My question is, does anybody have any questions for me as the podcast host? Any questions?
Yeah, where do you think you're going from here? Like, what's your 5-year plan for the podcast?
So honestly, my 5-year podcasting plan is to actually go and do a lot of different events on stage, dealing with one of the things I've been drawing up is a mental health, and that's just like one event, then doing a business one, and kind of just like doing different things, because there's different things for different people. I wouldn't want to have a business, mental health all in one setting, just because some people are like, I'm not here for this, or hey, I'm not here for mental health, I'm here for the business. So to kind of just make sure that all the time is used wisely. So I would say that.
And do you ever think about branching out to maybe like having a local TV show? That's what I started. I got a local access TV show, and just, you think about doing that?
I've thought about it, but just I guess I'll have to do research to kind of get myself out there, if it makes sense. So I would say that.
Awesome.
Oh yeah.
What platforms that you are not on currently would you want to be on someday?
What platforms? So I would say, honestly, Netflix. Netflix is a big platform to be on. I think anybody in podcast should try to get to Netflix. I also think that getting to radio would be a big one. I mean, a lot of people drive their car, listen to music, but there are people who don't like to listen to music. They rather listen to something inspirational, especially in the morning. Like, I know me getting up, I'm going to definitely put on a podcast because I need to hear something inspirational, something that's going to, like, drive me to have a good day, if it makes sense. So I would say that. And the last one would be to try to get on, like, Roku. There's some people that's going on Roku. So I would say Roku.
What encouraged you to start a podcast? Like, well, was that always your big dream?
So I'm gonna be honest. What encouraged me to start my podcast when I got an Article 15 in the military was something I didn't do. Yeah, something I didn't do. And I realized, like, when I had got Article 15, and I got a bunch of them, but I still got my honor discharge and I got my benefits.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Same.
but I got an Article 15. Didn't have nobody really to support, back me up, or whatnot. And I was a young soldier in. I was following the military, progressing. And then when I got kind of like that hit that like people can lie on me, if it makes sense, and then basically get away with it, that's when I was like, yeah, I want to be able to get on a platform and be able to talk, because everybody needs a voice. Just because somebody says something don't make that right. You know what I'm saying? And that's how I live my life. Just because somebody might tell me somebody a robber, I don't know you as a robber. They might do. I don't know you as a robber. You have to prove that to me, right? So I got to give you the respect and say, okay, that's what they say, but you might be a changed person. And then at the same time, I used to work in a prison too. So I understand the whole aspect of you got to prove yourself. Like, even though you proved yourself once, you got to prove yourself all over. So that's what really drove me to podcasts.
Hey, so we did a few things this afternoon. On your next trip back to Paducah, what would you like to do that we didn't do today?
My next trip back to Paducah, what we didn't do, I would say my next trip would be to probably maximize the city. You know, get out there and really like push Frazierchronicles. One, because like I said, I'm trying to move in different directions, but then at the same time come back and collab with a lot of different people. I think collaboration was something that they talked about earlier in the other panel and things like that before we came over here, and they were talking about that collaboration. I believe collaboration is the new thing. If you're not collaborating, you messing yourself up, because everybody collaborating, they're 20 steps ahead. If you don't collaborate, you're putting yourself 20 years behind, because people are not going to let you come on once they start moving up. You'll set that.
I know somebody that's got some ties to the city. Might be able to get us in Brooks Stadium.
Oh yeah, and I definitely would like to get in the Brooks Stadium. I've been to all types of stadiums, and I'm really about like getting into like those places.
Would you be open to, as I've watched a few of your videos and your podcast, and you're very funny, like the one you talk about with Thanksgiving and going over to your family's house and, you know, explaining all the different characters that you're going to experience when you go, you know, for Thanksgiving. I thought it was hilarious. So with that said, I know you're a podcaster. Are you also open to, some stand-up comedy and different things like that?
Oh yeah, I'm open to it. I actually did improv. A lot of people, let me put it like this. I'm funny to all my friends. Like, for real, I'm a jokester. I love to joke. I love to have fun. But I don't know, like, I feel like, I used to feel until I did improv. Improv really took me out my shit. Because, like, improv was like, you had to do things, and you couldn't be wrong. And when I felt like you couldn't be wrong, I was like, oh, this level playing field is dope, because I can't be wrong. So I would say, yeah, comedy, and I'm going to make people laugh. Over with.
The famous comedian from North Carolina tuned in.
Oh, really?
John Reed, he tuned in earlier.
What's going on? You know what I'm saying? So, like, yeah, I'm a comedian at heart. I like to do skits. Skits is my big thing. I really like to do skits. I believe skits is humor. To me, it's something that everybody needs. Humor. If you live a life full of seriousness, you're gonna die fast. Because high blood pressure gonna come. You're never gonna like people. People are not gonna like you. So yeah, you gotta be in tune to that. So yeah, definitely be open to that. All you gotta do is let me know. I'll be right back.
How do you juggle podcast work with your day-to-day life, like work, like basic work and family stuff, all that stuff?
So honestly, I take it with me. Because like now, if y'all follow my page, I'm on Instagram and TikTok, Preacherchronicles. If you follow me, you'll see me at like one of the jobs I do at my church is I substitute. So I act like I'm a teacher. I'm a substitute. But I really be like living a teacher's lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? And I make it like people live like really believe it. Call my friends like, you a teacher now? I'm like, bro, I just was a construction worker yesterday. So they be like, so it's just like taking it with me. And then at the same time, it's just like writing things down what come to my mind and then just trying to figure out, okay, how do I put this out? So that's what it is. Do I watch any other podcast that inspires me? Yes. I'm a podcast freak. I say a podcast freak because I'm always looking for the next thing. I'm like a business. I'm looking for the next best thing. And the way businesses move in the right direction is you got to look for the next best thing, and you got to know what your competition is. Like 85 South Show, I love Carlos Miller and all of it. But when it comes to podcasts, you have the Pivot podcast. You got almost a million podcasters out here. It's quote unquote saturated. It's not saturated. What it is everybody just talking about the same thing. So you got to set yourself apart. That's what I do. I kind of set myself apart. Because like today, I appreciate all of y'all for being on because that's something different. Nobody's doing that. So why do what everybody else do? Nobody took, 2-3 hours to get a panel of people through. Everybody kind of just stayed with one person or two people, and then it's like, it's bad. So this is different. This is like getting different people, different followers, because everybody might not be like hip to juices. You know what I'm saying? But some people might be in foster care. And they're like, I need to really get up out of here. Some people might be trying to get a restaurant off the ground. So You got somebody who got a restaurant off the ground. Somebody might be just having a dream of being a thrift store owner, but they don't know how to do it. You got somebody on that's done it. So that's the biggest thing. Everybody want to get into politics. Everybody want to be a politician. They just don't know how to, or they don't know how to argue.
David, I want to take the time out on behalf of all of us that were on your podcast today, and for Luke Larry's, hosting you here, and for your bravery to fly out from North Carolina and come to Paducah to explore your vision for your podcast. And we greatly appreciate you.
And I appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all as well, because this made my vision come alive. And I believe with this, it's a step. You know what I'm saying? People have a vision. Visions fail because nobody ever do it. Right? You got to get out here and you got to do it. And my biggest thing is, like, people always say, well, how many people you going to have coming? My biggest thing is I like when no people come, because I get to grow. When you have 20 people, now you got to have 40 people. So you got to continuously grow, because it's about numbers. Everything's about numbers. And the biggest thing is, what do I do next? You know what I'm saying? Like, this was like, how do I top this? So now I got to go home to the drawing board and be like, okay, how do I top that? How do I make this better? How do I make that better? How don't I do this? So it's a lot of different things. But again, I appreciate y'all for allowing me to come out here and make my vision. Yeah. So.
What's up, y'all? It's over. We did it. We came, saw, did it. Hey, I'm not disappointed in it at all. I'm happy. My vision was on display tonight. I appreciate everybody who had a hand in it. Trust me, this is just the beginning. It's only gonna get bigger from here. And if you're not on board with Frazierchronicles already, get on board so that you don't have to jump on board, because this train about to move faster than the speed of light. Frazierchronicles is moving on up. Again, to everybody that had a hand in this, Loopy Larry's, Deanna Turner, everybody, everybody that I interviewed, I appreciate each and every one of y'all, because this is big to me. This is big than what I'm imagining. My imagination is on 1,000 right now. I can't even go to sleep tonight. I'm gonna be up tonight thinking about the next thing, because that's what businesses do. I'm on to the next thing. This was just the beginning. If you got a vision out there, and I want to tell anybody out there, if you got a vision, find the people that will help you. If you don't find the people, make the vision happen where you are. That's all I got to say. It's like DJ Khaled, we the best. I'm telling you, you have to be inspired. You have to be motivated, dedicated. Dedicate yourself to what you're trying to do. These people who helped me were dedicated to what I had going on, what they had going on. And we family, y'all. We family. When I'm looking to host an event in Fayetteville or just any part of North Carolina, and I'm gonna let these people know whatever they need, I got them, because we family. Y'all just don't know how big this was for me, how excited I am right now. Planning months ahead about this whole thing, and we did it, y'all. We did it. On to the next thing. I'm ready.